Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. It is our post-game grade show following Michigan's absolute domination over Notre Dame last night in a torrential downpour monsoon that I attended. And shout out to those of you who also attended. I've got my Michigan football grades for Jim Harbaugh, Josh Gattis, Don Brown, Shea Patterson, every position on offense and defense following the dominating performance in front of a nationally televised audience last night. They really, in a lot of ways, puts Michigan's season back on the map towards success in a lot of ways. You got Michigan State, you got Ohio State coming up in the next month or so. Both those games at the big house. And I've got a newfound optimism for this team. And let me just start off with my first grade for the day. How about the fans at Michigan Stadium yesterday? It was pouring in the first half, but it was a fun first half. Halftime, people looked like they were zombies, but stopped raining for a little bit in the third quarter. Michigan got rolling again, and it was just a fun game to be at. So shout out to the fans who attended the game yesterday. I am filming from Chat Sports Michigan Football Studio Midwest, Allen Park, Michigan right now. Waiting to go to Detroit Airport to take my flight back. Let's get into it. Jim Harbaugh, I'm giving him an A+. This reminded me a lot of last year's Wisconsin game where Michigan put the ball on the ground, not in a fumble way, although there was 3 fumbles in the day by the Michigan team. They recovered them all, but went to the running game, went to what made Jim Harbaugh successful. I didn't think this looked like a Josh Gattis offense necessarily, what we've seen the rest of the year, but maybe you're taking some of the best of what Harbaugh has, blending it with what the best of Gattis has, and you've got a better offense moving forward, because clearly speed and space wasn't working the first 6 weeks. But things started to click a lot of ways, especially on offense. Defense was obvious, right? The defensive line was everywhere. I felt a lot of times looking in the stadium that Notre Dame that Michigan probably had 13 or 14 defenders in the field a lot of times through the game. I never felt that Notre Dame had a chance on any play of the entire game. It was just an outstanding performance. So Jim Harbaugh gets an A+. He's 1-1 versus Notre Dame now. Has had the best success against ranked teams, especially on the road. But this one was at home. Gets his second top 10 win as Michigan's head coach, first since the Wisconsin game in 2016. And hopefully this propels this team to a victory in a couple weeks against Michigan State. Another one, a month plus, or 3 weeks Michigan State, 5 weeks Ohio State. And I would feel really good about the season in a lot of ways if they recovered from that Wisconsin beatdown, lost a close one in Penn State, and then went on to beat Michigan State and beat Ohio State. So, A+ for Jim Harbaugh. Can I get a go blue from you guys? Just give me a go blue in the comments. I'm excited about this game. You guys got to be excited about this game. I think Michigan's going to beat Michigan State. Certainly don't think that one will be as close as a lot of people would have expected going into the season. And what I've seen from Ohio State doesn't give me a lot of confidence that Michigan will win that game. But I at least think they have a good chance. I think they have a chance, to say the least. So, A+ from Jim Harbaugh. Can I get a go blue from you? I'm going to Josh Gattis. I'm giving him an A+ as well. Great stats yesterday on offense. I'll kind of walk through them here. You gotta bear with me as I'm going through the stats. I've got my screen here, got my computer over here, so I'm gonna look off camera a little bit more than I normally would in a standard Michigan Football Report show. So, offense. Like what I saw. Shea Patterson, 6 of 10, 6 of 12. We'll get into him here shortly. Only 100 yards, but a couple touchdowns. Saw some nice things from Shea on the ground today, which I would like to see. I also saw him out there in a true Wilson touchdown pass, kind of as a lead blocker. He faked it out in the read and then he kind of sprinted out to the left side. True cuts it back, and Shea is down the field blocking. True Wilson gets into the end zone on a big-time run. We saw Dylan McCaffrey 2 for 2 for 34 yards and a touchdown. How about Hassan Haskins? 149 yards in the day, 74 for Charbonnet. Haskins has now firmly planted himself as the starting running back. Back-to-back weeks getting the start. Shea Patterson, 40 yards on the ground. Mike Sainristil, big-time play, big-time touchdown, 73 yards for him. Not a lot of going on in the game through the air, and at some point in the second quarter, I'm like, look, Michigan hasn't completed a pass, and that surprised some people that I was sitting at for this one. But A+ for Josh Gattis. Grade the offense for me, though. Give me your grade for the Michigan football offense. And maybe just the offensive coordinator, Josh Gattis, is where I'm grading here. I'll get into the positions here in a second, but give me your grade for Michigan's offense in an absolute domination, especially in the second half against Notre Dame in this one. Yards for the day for Michigan. 303 rushing yards, 134 passing for, was that 447 yards? Am I looking at 437 yards? Sorry about that. For the day to the 180 for Notre Dame, which brings me to the grade for Mr. Don Brown. A+ for Don Brown. Really like to see what I saw of this defense. I thought Josh Uche, Kwity Paye, Cam McGrone, Jordan Glasgow were all over the place. Daxton Hill, the true freshman, 2 fumble recoveries on the day. A little bit of special teams, a little bit of defense. Great day by Daxton Hill. But this game, in a lot of ways, reminded me of last year's Wisconsin game and last year's Penn State game. Mid to late October games when Michigan really needed to make a statement to decide if this was going to be a potential big season, which it had the potential to be last year. Unfortunately, lost to Ohio State, or a mediocre one. And as this season started to slip away from Michigan, losing last week in Penn State, this could have gone very quickly to a mediocre season. 4 or 5 losses, in a lot of people's mind, guaranteed had they lost last night and went to 5-3. But now, team is 6-2. 3 games that I think that they definitely should, I don't want to say dominate, but I don't see Michigan State's offense doing anything in the Big House. So I think Michigan will win that one by a couple touchdowns at least. And then you've got Ohio State towards the year, at the end of the year, on November 30th. So that is my grade on Don Brown, giving him an A+. And I want to tell you guys about an A+ app, our partner, My TV Choice. My TV Choice is the best way to watch live sports on TV. You don't have to change your cable subscription, but you can eliminate commercials. So you're watching the Michigan game last night, you got the My TV Choice app for your iPhone, you sync it to your Wi-Fi. The second the game goes to commercial, no more Geico commercials, no more Allstate commercials, go straight to awesome sports videos from Chat Sports and other outlets while the commercial's on. The second the game comes back, it listens to your TV and says, boom, game's back on. Let's take you back there. You have to do nothing. Just download the app, chatsports.com/mytv. Hook it up to your home Wi-Fi. The second the game goes to commercial, you're watching awesome sports videos. It's just like replacing the worst part of watching TV, the boring commercials, replacing with more awesome sports content while you're watching a Michigan game, a lot of college football games, NFL games today, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, all throughout the year. Get it going with them today. Chatsports.com/mytv will take you right to the store or the app store to download it. Do it today. Support the Michigan Football Report by getting with My TV Choice. How about Shea Patterson? Shea Patterson, I am giving an A- to. And I thought Shea played a great game. I saw some confidence out of Shea. Didn't have the stats that would, relegate him to an A+ game like you're going to see a lot of today. But I really like what I saw Shea from a leadership perspective, from a decision-making perspective. And he looks healthy. And maybe that was the problem with this offense all along. We told you Shea's had the oblique injury since the first half of the first game. Could he finally be healthy? Could the last 6 quarters be the real Shea Patterson? Could he be the guy who leads Michigan to a victory against what could be the number 1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes in 5 weeks? So, A- from Shea. Liked what I saw out of Shea for the day. The stats weren't going to be there with the torrential downpour in the first and second quarter, and for a lot of the fourth quarter it was raining. So, without the opportunity to throw the ball, 30, 40 times, Shea played a really good game. Got out there as a blocker and the True Wilson run late in the game. And so I thought everything Shea did today was really good. A- for him. Ask you guys this question. With Wisconsin losing, Michigan having obviously more national relevance than Wisconsin, they might get, the nod. Will Michigan make a New Year's 6 bowl games? And if this is still a new concept to some of you guys, I'll kind of break it down for you. New Year's 6 replaces basically the old BCS. There's 2 playoff games plus 4, big invite bowl games. Michigan went to one in 2016, went to one in 2018, lost both of those to Florida State and Florida, respectively. Type Y if yes, type N if no. I think if they win against they beat Ohio State for sure, they're in. I'm not sure which one they'll be in, but if they go and they lose to Ohio State, there's still a pretty good chance they could make it into a New Year's 6 bowl. So type Y for yes, they will. Type N for no. How about the running backs? I'm giving them an A++ on the day. What a game by this group of Michigan running backs. I'm going to pop into the stats because they were awesome. 20 carries for your new starting running back the last couple weeks. Hassan Haskins, 20 carries, 149 yards. No touchdowns for him. Zach Charbonnet, 15 for 74. True Wilson, 2 touchdowns for Charbonnet. True Wilson got in the end zone, 45 yards. Shea was out there, 48 yards for True Wilson. Shea was out there with 40 yards. You saw Christian Turner. We haven't seen him do a ton lately. But A++ for the running backs. This was a dominating performance. Old school Jim Harbaugh, a little Stanford Jim, a little 49ers Jim, a little 2018 Jim Harbaugh running attack from Michigan. Wide receivers. Going with an A- for wide receivers. Didn't have the stats, like we said. Glance over the stats here. Sanders with 3 catches for 73. DPJ had 2 catches. Collins with 1 for 16. Ronnie Bell with 1, who got hurt. I didn't see Ronnie Bell come back into the game, so hopefully he's okay. And then Giles Jackson had 1 for 8. 3 touchdowns through the air, though. A touchdown for Sanders, Peoples-Jones, Nico Collins. And I saw a lot of downfield blocking. A lot of just like team play from the wide receivers. We're not going to throw the ball a ton of times. Michigan threw 14 passes in the day, 6 of 12 for Shea, 2 of 2 for Dylan McCaffrey. You're not going to have the opportunity to stand out as wide receivers, but their downfield blocking, their ability to just show effort and make the right plays when they were needed and not getting the drops that you've seen in past, specifically first half against Penn State. End of the game, Ronnie Bell against Penn State last week. So A- for the wide receivers. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/Michigan TV. We've got videos almost every single day throughout the 2019 Michigan college football season for Michigan. We always have our post-game grade show like you're watching here. News and rumors and updates throughout the week. Subscribe now, Michigan Football Report on YouTube, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Just click that button right below this video. Subscribe now if you haven't. The offensive line, A+. Don't have to really go into that too deep. We saw Michigan's backup offensive lineman, Steven Spinellis, drive a guy right off the entire field at one point in the game. That got a lot of buzz on social media. That was an awesome play, but just a wonderful offensive performance. Seems like it's really starting to click. Ed Warner has been known to have his offensive lines progressively get better. We saw that last year with Michigan. Starting to see it this year. 4 starters returning, plus Jalen Mayfield. You had Andrew Stuber, who was potentially a starter, go out early in the year with an injury. Mayfield's played well. This is the best game this offensive line has played this entire year. But with this dominating win over Notre Dame, I want to ask you guys this question. We all hate Ohio State, right? All hate Ohio State. But other than Ohio State, who's your most hated rival for your fandom as a Michigan fan? Is it Notre Dame? Is it Penn State maybe? Is it Michigan State? I never got the Michigan State hate myself as much as some people who grew up in the state of Michigan. But I would probably say actually I prefer to beat Notre Dame, so I would actually put them as my personal number 2. Don't know about you guys. Answer below. Outside of Ohio State, who is your most hated rival as a Michigan football fan? Guys, you beat one of them last night. You've got another opportunity with another one of Michigan State here in a few weeks. How about tight ends? I'm going with a B in the tight ends. I don't really know what to say. No one played bad yesterday, so I can't give them anything worse than a B. But no stats for the tight ends. You see guys like Eric All and it was really just tough to see. Not Eric All, I meant Nick Eubanks. Nick Eubanks seemed to be in almost every play, but no real stats for the tight end. So we'll kind of burn past them. A for the special teams. Some nice punts, a fumble recovery on special teams, so that was good to see. That critical gaff, block punt for Notre Dame. So a lot of good plays from the special teams, nothing bad on the day. So going to give the special teams an A. 6 punts, 41-yard average for Will Hart, and then 2 of those over 50 yards for the day. Defensive line, I'm giving an A, baby. Maybe I should give them an A+, but I'll give them an A. That's what I put down right after the game. Carlo Kemp with 4 tackles. Luigi Villain with 3 tackles and a sack. Aiden Hutchinson, I noticed him a lot. Just a beast, an animal, blocking down passes. Kwity Paye, 2 tackles. Michael Dana, 2 tackles as well. Liked what I saw all day out of the defensive line. I felt Michigan had 6 or 7 defensive linemen the entire game. It was an impressive performance from Don Brown and this Michigan defense. But I want to ask you guys what your grade is. Michigan defense, Give me your grade. Is it an A+? Is it an A++? Is it an A++++? You get an A, you get an A, you get an A, you get an A. Give me your grade. I gave Don Brown an A+, giving the defensive line an A. The Michigan linebackers, though, they are getting an A+ for this one, folks. An A+ for the Michigan linebackers. Cam McGrone leading the day with 12 tackles. Klee Cutson, 5 tackles, a tackle for loss. QB hurries for both those guys. Jordan Glasgow with 4 tackles. Josh Uche, who he didn't get the stats only with 1 tackle on a quarterback hurry, but I thought Uche really was a guy. Every time Notre Dame dropped back the pass, I just saw Uche across the field. He's flying across the ball, flying across the line towards the ball, and disrupting Ian Book all day long for the Michigan defense. So an A+ for the Michigan linebackers. And Notre Dame did nothing on the ground today, right? I'm going to take a look at Notre Dame's stats on the ground. Their leading rusher, 15 yards. Smith, 15 yards. Jones, 14 yards. Ian Book himself had 13 yards. Notre Dame, 47 net rushing yards on 31 carries for the day. 25 of those kind of came back from quarterback sacks, and that's how it goes in college. But Notre Dame averaged 1.5 yards per carry on the day. Pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. But how many yards will Michigan give up? Michigan's defense give up in the next 2 games. What do you think the average is going to be the next couple of games for Michigan? You've got Maryland, you've got Michigan State as the next 2 games with a bye game in between. How many yards will Michigan give up the next 2 games? I'm going like 225 yards on average. Maybe. I don't know about Michigan State's offense. They are looking pretty pedestrian these days. Just kind of taking a look at Notre Dame as a team. I want to get the exact numbers here. 12 first downs for the Irish on the day, but 31 yards, 47 yards total rushing on the day on 31 attempts, 133 yards passing. A lot of those came in junk time, 11 for 29. 180 yards total offense for Notre Dame today, so pretty pedestrian performance from the offense for Notre Dame against a great performance from Michigan's defense. So I want to know from you guys. Secondary, I'm giving an A. There was a touchdown through the air, a couple plays, that phantom pass interference call, but good play all around. We see Daxton Hill out there, a little bit on defense, a little bit on special teams. I think he needs more snaps. Josh Metellus is the leader with 4 tackles. Ambry with 3 tackles. Brad Hawkins with 2. Laverne Hill, 2 pass breakups. Vincent Gray, it's kind of been your 5-man rotation in the secondary over the past few weeks. But they held Ian Book to just a really average day, below average day, to be frank, on the day for Notre Dame's quarterback. 8 of 25, 73 yards, that 1 touchdown, and he was rattled all day. The defensive line helped the secondary helped the defensive line, and it was just a masterful defensive performance all day from the Michigan Wolverines football team. And that is today's Michigan football grades following their big-time blowout victory at home versus Notre Dame yesterday. If you guys want more Michigan football content, I've got my Friday rumor shows over here. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit this button right here to subscribe to the Michigan Football Report. We'll be back tomorrow with some more Michigan football news and rumors. Go Blue.